What's up, everybody? It's Glenn and Big Jack back with another best bets of the NFL weekend. This will be NFL week number 9. Uh, we had an undefeated week last week. A little bit of a weird week because I had 2 pushes with my 3 picks, but I did win my one pick that did go to a decision. So I went 1-0 with 2 pushes, and Jack on the other end went 3-0. Hell of a week, Big Jack. That brings our season records up to 14-7 with 3 pushes on the year for me, and then Big Jack's at 14-10. So I mean, if you're watching this podcast and following our bets, tailing our bets, you're enjoying life right now. So we're gonna try to build on that, keep the positive momentum heading into next week. Big Jack, it's great to have you back. How you feeling?
Always a pleasure, my man. Feel good now. Getting up to 14-10. Finally starting to roll a little bit. It was, I started 1-5, so really sort of 13-5 in the last, 6 weeks or whatever it's been now since that tough start. You've sort of just been steady as she goes all year, kind of right around that 67% clip damn near. So yeah, it's been a good year so far. Hopefully we continue to get a little better grasp on these teams as we slide into November, as crazy as that seems. Doing it a little earlier this week than we
Yep.
typically do, which could be good or bad depending on line movement. I feel like both of us usually like to wait a little
Yeah,
bit longer, but
definitely.
it is what it is. We got to make it happen, and let's get after it.
Yeah, I got to get this video done early because I will be traveling, and I don't know what exactly the sportsbook possibilities will be either. So gotta make these picks early. Gotta pray that nothing crazy happens, and if anything crazy does happen, it's in our favor. But that being said, let's keep it rolling. Let's go into the our first picks of the week. I'm going to go on a team that I've been riding quite a bit this year. I'm higher on them, I think, than most people, although I think the general public is coming around to them now. They're big dogs this week. They're 6 point dogs as they go to Baltimore. I'm going to be on the Seahawks. I just think they're a good team. 6 points is a lot of points. I know Baltimore has looked impressive so far this year. They had that big win 2 weeks ago against Detroit. They're a good team. But I could see Seattle going there, being well coached, being a good team, and keeping it to definitely within 6. I think they're capable of winning the game too, to be honest. So that's my first pick of the week: Seahawks +6 going to Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, you called it before the year that some of your futures plays are kind of tied to that Seattle team. I mean, crazy long shot on their Super Bowl odds, which would be wildly hip. And then I think you took them to win the division too,
Yeah,
which looks uh looks very tasty the way that the 49ers have sort of unraveled these last couple weeks. Um, I almost in those games, I almost don't like a big number. It's kind of like when the Lions went there a couple weeks ago and I was on the Ravens just because I thought the number was too big. Like it made it seem like it was a little too enticing.
sure.
But I mean, I'm not on the Ravens this week. I think that game's a little too tough for me. I think it's irresponsible to lay them in that situation with the way that the Seahawks have been playing. And Pete Carroll has an outstanding career record in those, breakfast games or whatever you want to call them for those West Coast teams when they have to travel out east and play in that noon slate. So, I think you're sort of riding that trend is on your side. I don't think that's a bad play at all, getting damn near a full touchdown on the road for the Seahawks. First game I'm going to take, it's just a gross, hate it pick, so I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I'm gonna take the Packers at home. I was against them last week. I do think that they're a bad football team. I don't know necessarily. I mean, I guess the Rams are also not a great football team, but the Packers are laying 3.5. You get a little juice on that one. It's -107, so it's not taxing so heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if it closed right at 3, But I'll take the 3.5. That's what the board says for now. I'll ride with it. I like the Packers to get it done at home against the Rams team that just got eviscerated in Dallas.
This week's going to be a little tough because I'm seeing 3 as the number on my book, minus 110. So, and I'll touch on it with my next 2 picks. If you look at my book compared to like a DraftKings book, you're getting a different number as well. So it's a little bit of a weird week. You want to go with that 3.5 number since that's what you're seeing on your end?
Yeah, I'll stick to it.
Okay.
I just for I mean, not that it matters, but for clarity, and I guess anyone's wondering why the number might be different. Is I use Rivers,
Yeah.
you use Points Bet. I think we look at everything, so that's they're just kind of a little off from time to time. But yeah, I'll ride with 3.5. I'll stick kind of what I always do. Just the number that's on Rivers is that's what I end up playing. So.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. As far as the pick goes, um, I think this is a gotta have it game for the Packers, to be honest. There's a lot of chatter up there that Jordan Love's not the guy. A lot of the fans are not loving LaFleur. They're starting to see what it's like to have life without a Pro Bowl quarterback at all times, damn near all pro quarterback at all times. So I like the spot. I like the Packers. They desperately need a win here. So I like the pick, Jack. I'm obviously probably not going to be on it just because fuck the Packers, but I like where your head's at for the pick. All right, my second pick of the week. It's a homer pick. I'm going Bears. I'm going Bears +8 at New Orleans Saints. I'm using the same logic that you had last week and thinking that this number's too big. And you went Chargers, which was the right pick last week. That's probably what the smart money would say is to go Saints here because that number's too big. Go with the big numbers. Go with the side that's getting or giving all those points. But that being said, I think the Bears bounced back after a disappointing performance last week. Um, I wish Fields was back. It sounds like it's still going to be Bajent, but they'll keep this game competitive. I think they'll keep it close. I'm gonna go Bears +8. Don't love the pick, but I'm on it.
Hey man, they're gonna have a pass rush hopefully this week, and be should be they've been good against the run lately. I
Yeah.
guess considering how woeful they had been previous to the last few weeks here. But yeah, that Montez Sweat addition will be interesting to see what kind of jolt it gives to the team. We don't talk more about the Bears specifically in the other video, but just because it is your pick, I do think they should have some positive vibes, getting some buy-in from the front office. They didn't sell anyone off; they only brought in somebody. They're still showing they're committed to building for the future. They like what they sort of got started, even though some of us may not like it so much. I think they come out of this trade deadline week sort of gelled together and hopefully can at least compete. And if they do that, yeah, you definitely keep it to a one-score game against a questionable up and down Saints team who can stop people, but they shouldn't be hanging up too much points on us. Certainly, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stay same divisional type matchup. I'm gonna take the Vikings on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. This is kind of just a guts pick. It's tough with the Vikings not having Kirk Cousins. It's going to be his first game out, and it's tough to really know what to expect from a team like that. I just don't really know why this number isn't bigger. I feel like Atlanta's been playing well despite what Desmond Ritter has or hasn't been able to do. I think there's a chance that Heineke might be starting this weekend. I know he kind of came in at the end of that last game. So we'll see what that quarterback situation looks like for Atlanta. I don't know, man. The Vikings, every single game they play is a one score game. and they're getting 4.5. It's through the key of three. I'll roll the dice on this one. Don't feel great about it necessarily, but I think the Vikings will keep it tight enough to hopefully cover that number, 4.5 on the road.
I think I did see today that Heineke is starting. I don't know if that really
Yeah.
makes any kind of difference, but yeah, I mean, we'll see how they look without Kirk. From what I heard, Jaron Hall looked okay in his performance after Kirk went down with an injury. We'll see if Dobbs starts. I like Kevin O'Connell. I think he's a good coach. I like Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator. I think they absolutely could still potentially keep this game close. We'll see how they look without Kirk. Definitely an interesting pick by you. My last pick of the week, it's an under in a divisional game. I'm going to go the under 46.5 in the Cowboys at Eagles. A lot of the money so far is on the over. Actually, I've seen it up at 47 too, which obviously if you can get it at 47, that's better than 46.5. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game though. The Eagles last week had kind of a shootout. Cowboys are kind of hit or miss if their offense clicks. I'm just going to take the chance that this is an under in this game. Divisional game, got to be tight. Eagles are the class of this division, but the Cowboys, if they they're going to have something to say about it before the end of the season, I think. So I'm going to go the under 46.5. Hope that these defenses come to play, and just be rooting for low points.
I like that play a lot. Like we've touched on in the past. I don't know if you forgot to check your over-under record specifically, but you'll have to do that soon enough here. But yeah, no, it really is something to be said about those divisional games. A part of me really likes the Cowboys getting the points on the road. I don't think Philly's been spectacular by any stretch. Like we've said in past videos, it's a credit to them in a sense that they've been winning these games, not playing their best football, or at least not appearing to play their best football. Maybe this is just who they are this year. Maybe they're not as good as they were last year. But just every time I ride with the Cowboys, I seem to get screwed over on them. So it's tough for me to trust them. So I'm not going to take it. But yeah, I think that game is a little bit tighter than most people think. With a lot of the Eagles games have sort of been shootouts this year, and I think this one is not. I could see it be a little more knockdown, drag out, playoff type preview. Could mean a hell of a lot for that division as well, which is obviously important in the way the playoff format works out down the stretch. My last pick for the first time this year, I'm going to turn to Monday Night Football. I'm going to take the over. I've only taken one over-under. I usually do not like over-unders because the whiz kids that come up with all these spreads and numbers and everything else, I feel like they nail it so well. It's just tough to beat over the long term. But I love the over on Monday night. It's 40 points. I think a lot of people look at that game and think, how are the Jets going to score, and how is an inconsistent Chargers offense going to score on what's been maybe the best defense in the NFL? And I just think it goes over. I think it looks like an ugly game that ends up being a little more entertaining than it might appear on the onset.
I can dig it. I like that pick a lot. We watched the Chargers last week. Herbert looked great. How much is that Bears defense looks like shit? But I think that Wilson in that offense should be able to move the ball too. I like that over 40. I think that's a good pick for sure. Yeah, I mean, let's try to build on our positive momentum, those good records from last week, good records on the season. Quick recap. Jack is on the Packers -3.5 at home versus the Rams. The Vikings +4.5 at Atlanta, and the over 40 on Monday night. Chargers at the Jets. I am on the Bears +8 at New Orleans. Seahawks +6 at Baltimore, and the under 46.5 in Dallas at the Eagles. So those are the 6 picks this week. They will be entered into a parlay. Fun fact for last week's parlay, although we went 4-0-2, so that's a winning parlay. I did not have the Chargers leg in there because it was against the Bears. So out of those 5 legs, 3 hit. Actually, 4 hit because I got a better number on one of them, and it was a winner. It was a hook. So we hit 4 of the 5 legs in last week's parlay. Nice little payout for your boy. Love to see it. Love to see us build on it and get a little 6-legger this week. That'd be great. Jack, it's always a pleasure. Give it to the people one time.
Bears.
Like and subscribe. We'll be back with a Bears preview video.